Alright y'all, back here with another video. Today, I'm just gonna go over my history of Resident Evil. Like, how it affected my life and what was my deeply love for it. Now, I do have another Resident Evil 9 video coming out, hopefully soon. I'm probably gonna wait until after the 26th because Capcom's gonna have a showcase of 4 of their major games, including Resident Evil 9, and they're going to be showing off new stuff for it. So, I'm going to wait for that to happen, and then I'll make my video of new information that we got, plus the new screenshots that we got not too long ago, and new details from the demo that people played. But, yeah, if you saw from the thumbnail, we will be talking about Resident Evil 2, 3, and 4 Remake, and Resident Evil 7 and 8. So, I started this franchise playing Resident Evil 7. When it first came out, I saw this YouTuber named The Rad Brad. He was one of my favorite YouTubers at the time. He played this game, and I was like blown away by it. I really loved it. It took me until 2021 to finally get the game and play it. And I was creeped out. I was scared to my mind. I loved it so much. Now, I was a bit of a pussy and played it on easy because, I mean, it's the scariest Resident Evil game to me. It brought back the franchise, of course, and, you know, I was still little. It was a few years ago, so I was, like, 15, I believe, maybe 16. But yeah, it was, I really loved it. It really brought me into the franchise, and I loved it. I loved it. And then I didn't play another one until 2022, and that was Resident Evil, well, I will say I have played the OG 4 and 5 and 6, but I'm not really going to mention those. 5 was okay. I liked 5. 6 I hated. I hate 6. I didn't understand the story, and I loved how they introduced four different campaigns that took place at the same time, just like different characters. But the story of Resident Evil is a big part for me, and I did not understand what was going on in 6. I had to research what was going on in 6, and I hope they remake it to make it scarier, because it was an action-packed game, not scary at all. And I hope they remake it to make it scarier and the story makes sense more. But yeah, in 5, it was pretty good. I liked that Wesker was the main villain. I really liked him. He was pretty cool. Still action, not horror, but it wasn't that bad. And then OG 4, I played like up to 20 minutes of that game. Didn't get past the village, and then when I heard they announced RE4 Remake, I went back to that game and beat it, loved it, and then after 4 Remake, I got the Oculus 3, and I played the original on VR, and I actually loved it more. I loved it more that I played it on VR, and that made me appreciate Resident Evil 4 way more. But yeah, then I played Resident Evil 2 Remake. That one scared me too. I really liked it. Mr. X was terrifying. One of the best stalker villains in a Resident Evil game ever. And then 3, I know people don't like 3 because there's no DLC in it, and plus it's shorter than the original, which I understand, but it wasn't that bad. Nemesis was really great with all of his transformation and stuff. Carlos and Jill were great main characters. I loved how it tied into Resident Evil 2 and how you could like pinpoint where the story was, and that nuke at the end of RE3 was amazing to see. And then Resident Evil 4 Remake, that was amazing. That was my favorite remake, I'm gonna say. I just can't wait to see what other remakes they do, but Resident Evil 4 Remake was my all-time favorite. It is the most recent Resident Evil I played. Village, let's talk about Village. Village is not the same as 7 and the remakes, because the only part I find scary of it is the Donna Beneviento part were the baby and stuff. And then the part where you're having to go back and get the key of, like, the Heisenberg key in his stronghold, where it's all dark and stuff and you can't really see where enemies are. That was a little scary too. I was like, I'm not going through here. Nope, it's too dark. But I had to anyways. You had to get that key to be able to fight Heisenberg. But I don't know. I like the story from Village, but it just, I don't know. It just had too many areas, I would say, and I like the amount of boss fights. I do. I just feel like it had too many areas, too many rooms. It wasn't as, small areas like 7. Because I love 7 because it has a single location that you're going to, and you're just like going around the same location over and over. Now, yes, there is the boat, but besides that, it's only one location, the house, for most of the game. And, but in Village, you have the village, which has multiple houses to go through. You have the castle, which is huge as hell. And then you have Donna's house, which is the smallest. You're not collecting anything in there. You're just going in, going out. And then you have the stronghold, which is really huge, too. It's more of a maze in there than it is the village and the castle. But I do love the boss fights in that game. They were very creative and unique to me. I do love them. But this was kind of my history with Resident Evil and how much I love the franchise. And I'm very excited for RE9. And I'm really hoping that we get an RE0 and RE1 remake soon. I feel like they should do those next after 9. Because I don't see them doing Resident Evil 10 or X, however they call it. And with Leon and Jill possibly being in RE9, I wouldn't be mad about that. I would love to see Leon and Jill come back for recent Resident Evil timeline games. Maybe they close off Leon's story, give him his trilogy, and then Jill maybe give her happy life too. Which would be really, really cool. And then remaking RE5 and RE6 would be, interesting too. And then remaking Code Veronica is actually on their list to do, so that would be interesting to see. Actually, I've never played Code Veronica. I've only played the mainline games, which I only love the mainline games. I don't really care for spin-offs or the anime movies or any of the movies in general. But yeah, so if I were to go about ranking these, I would say so from 1 to 5, because there's 5 on this list, I would say 7, 2, 4, 3, and then Village. Actually it's 7, 4, 2, 3, and Village, because 4 is my favorite remake. Now, out of all these, I think the scariest is 7 because of the molded enemies and then the boss fights. The boss fights were very interesting and creative, and I really liked them. But, that's really going to do it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. I'll see you guys in the next video, and bye.
We'll be right back.